Greetings, crafty friends. Welcome to another episode of Angela Shows You. Today is going to be the third and final in the series of our Go Green talk that we have had the last 3 days. I did these in 3 consecutive days, Thursday, Friday. Today is Saturday, September 30th, and so this will be the last one. So the last 2 days we talked about some things that you could make and or use, or just ideas on recycling. So for example, yesterday we talked about when you use your, if you buy jars of pasta sauce, if you are so inclined to make your own pasta sauce, or even if you make chili or soup or, lots of things, save those jars. So if you, whatever brand you use, if you use Ragu or Prego or whatever, wash the jar out and then save it. I don't save mine for a long time. If I don't plan on making something that I'm going to use that jar pretty, within the next week or two, then I do recycle those. But I do like to save those jars because I do make my own pasta sauce. And so usually when I make sauce, I will make a big thing of it, because I'm just like, if I'm going to go through the effort of making sauce, I'm going to make some for 2 servings, maybe even 3 meals worth. So I like to save the jars because that way I have something to store my leftover, the leftovers in. Same thing if I'm making chili. I'll do up a big thing of chili in the crock pot, and then I'll go ahead and I'll jar that up into 2 or 3 additional jars. Usually when I do chili, I might, I'll cook up 3 or 4 pounds of ground beef or a mixture of ground beef and ground turkey, and then, whatever else you like to put in your chili. If you're interested, I can do a tutorial on pasta sauce and I can do another one on chili. I've done a few recipes on this channel, not too many so far, but it is something that I want to do as recipes because I do enjoy cooking as much as I enjoy crafting. So anyway, today I wanted to just talk a little bit about a few more things that you might want to, just take into consideration if you are looking to, recycle and definitely saving money. Yesterday, we also talked a little bit about reusable water bottles as opposed to buying the single-use plastic bottles. I had mentioned that I saw a study somewhere that they said that it was like 12 or 15% of recycles only actually get recycled. So I just feel like the more I can reuse something, the better. I definitely, put stuff in our recycle bin, but I also like to reuse things. I don't, you only have so much Tupperware. So like, for example, the sauce, the chili, the soup, you only have so many Tupperwares. So if you're, using Tupperwares for other things, whether, maybe you make chicken salad or tuna salad, or, you're using them for other things or kids' lunches, or you're meal prepping. So the jars are just another way of storage of food products without necessarily using Tupperwares. And, then I might use that jar that one time, and then after that I do tend to go ahead and pop it in the recycle bin. But there's definitely nothing saying that you couldn't continue to just reuse those repeatedly. I just tend to use them one time and then I put them in the recycle bin. We talked a little bit the other day about reusable shopping bags. I linked to a tutorial that I had done on a shopping bag. I'm also going to be doing in the pretty near future a tutorial on a quilted tote bag as well. That I don't use those ones for groceries. I use those more for like other shopping or if I'm going to the gym, and they also make fantastic gifts. So as we're coming into the holiday season, bags are a great gift. I made my my stepdaughter and my two stepsons' girlfriends, I made everybody those bags last year. And I think my one stepson said that his girlfriend actually took theirs on vacation. So they're definitely a practical item to use. So I'm going to be doing a tutorial on those. So I hope that you will consider subscribing to Angela Shows You for sewing tutorials that I have planned for the next couple of weeks. So we talked a little bit about other things that we can reuse. You know, there's things out there that, and I don't do this, and I probably should because I do tend to use a lot of paper toweling. But there's like reusable paper towels. I either use paper towels or I just grab, you know, the kitchen towels. I try and find them. I feel like kitchen towels have really skyrocketed in price lately. I don't know why. But I have seen, and there's a website out there that they'll make like a roll of reusable paper towels. And I think that that's a really great idea. And somehow they do the roll and they, you know, like they stagger the towel so that they almost pull off kind of a little bit like they would on a roll. And then you can use them for your dusting or cleaning or whatever. And then you just pop them in the washer and the dryer, and then you've got them. And then I know other people who, rather than try and roll them back up, I've seen other comments where people say that, you know, they'll just stack them and they maybe stack them in their drawer or whatever. So that's a really great idea as well, of a way to kind of be green and save money, because paper towels are expensive as well. So, you know, if you find a fabric at the store, you know, and stuff like that, you can use remnants. Joann's always has my Joann's anyways always has this gigantic rack of remnants, and a lot of times the remnants are on sale for an additional 50% off of the marked price. So I love that, because then that just brings the prices down considerably. And then I was at Hobby Lobby the other day and they had remnants as well, so I picked up a few remnants at Hobby Lobby. My thought on those was bowl cozies, but I mean, you know, depending on the size of the remnant that you get, you could do all kinds of things. So the other thing is reusable like makeup pads. So I used to make these and sell them, and they actually sold really, really well. When I made them and sold them, I also included like a, oh, what are they called? Like one of those little mesh garment bag type things, like the delicates bag, so to speak, that you used to use those for like pantyhose, you know, so that they wouldn't get caught up in other clothes, or, you know, especially if you had something Velcro and then they get caught on the Velcro and then they tear. But some people still use them if they wash bras or panties or whatever. So you can find these like little garment bags. I bought, so when I was making them and selling them at craft shows, I bought a kind of a lot of them on Amazon. I think I got like a 10 pack or something that I got on Amazon. But you know, you can get one, you can just buy them two. You know, they're like meshy, they have holes in them. So these things are really great to just throw in there. That way they don't get lost. They don't get sucked up in the hose of either the washer or especially in the dryer when, you know, when they're in there, because they're small. And I feel like they would disappear faster than socks do when they are in the dryer. So this finished, I had purchased on eBay a while ago. I bought like this little quilters. These were already cut, and these are 4x4. And my finished one is 3x3. Now you could make these a little bit smaller. You could also make them round, you know, whatever you want, whatever, you know. If you sew at all, I'm sure you've got a stack of scraps. We all do. You cut something and then you have, you know, the stack of scraps. So these little like makeup pads are excellent. Now this one is just 2 pieces of cotton that I sewed together. But but these are great for either washing your face, you know, maybe rather than using a washcloth, you could just make up, you know, 5 or 7, you know, like one for every day of the week, make up a stack of these, and then you can use them to wash your face. You can also, when I was using them before, I was using them if I was using like a toner on my face. These are nice, you know, you squeeze a little bit of the toner on there, and then you go ahead and, you know, you can either rub it or dab it in. You could use it for lotion. You could even use it for makeup if you wanted to. Now, so like I said, this is cotton, but and this is a soft cotton. This isn't a rough cotton, but you could use, you know, a flannel if you wanted to. I just feel like if you used a flannel, you would probably want to be careful because you wouldn't want any of that, you know, to pill, and then you got little bits of fabric on your face. So I do prefer the cotton, but you know, this is another project that's fairly flexible. However, I would not use something like a satin, but you could probably also even use like a, you know, like a jersey knit or something. And if I did something like that, I would probably, so after I sewed this, I went through and top stitch, because, you know, you got to also close your turn gap. But if I used something that was, I don't want to call it flimsy, but jersey knit, you know, you don't want it, you don't want the two pieces kind of moving all over the place when you're trying to use it, like if you're rubbing on your face or whatever. So I would almost do like 2 top stitches just to kind of secure your 2 pieces of fabric into place. So I'm going to do a little tutorial. So if you're not interested in making any of these, and you will probably want to fast forward to the end of this. But what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 pieces of whatever size fabric that you want. Now, some people might think that 3x3 is a little bit too big. The cotton rounds that you buy at the store, I want to say those are maybe about 2.5 inches around. So this is a little bit bigger than the cotton rounds that you buy at the store. And this is what I mean about the Go Green. Now the bag of the cotton rounds, I think there's like 100 in there. So they last about 3 months if you use them every day. Those are like $3 or $4, at least where I live. So if you want to use up scraps of your fabric, making something like that is a great use of your fabric scraps, and then you're going to save money in the long run because you're not going to be buying those cotton rounds anymore. And if you make to sell, these actually are a great, they actually are a really good seller. I was selling, I think I sold a package of 10. That way people had a little bit more than a week's worth. And I was doing the package of 10 with the baggie, with the, you know, the bag that you put them in to throw them into the washing machine. And I think I was selling them for $10. And I didn't get any, you know, squawks about the price. So I think that was a good price point in my area. So just to give you an idea of what to charge. So to make these, what you're going to do is you will take 2 pieces of fabric, again, whatever size that you decide that you want to make these. I feel like this is a pretty good size. So you're going to put your 2 pieces of fabric right sides together. Ooh. And then you're just going to take it to your machine. I lost my little holder thing. So I actually kind of gave, because I did not want them to be the 4x4. I just felt like that was way too big. So I gave a pretty generous seam allowance because I went from 4x4 to 3x3. So I used the entire width of my presser foot, and I just kind of used that as my guide. And now don't forget to back stitch a little bit, a stitch or 2. Leave yourself a turn gap. Doesn't need to be real big, but give yourself enough room so that you have space to get in there. Okay, last side. All right, so then, just to kind of course, to reduce the bulk in the corners, I trimmed off the corners, but then I also just trimmed off a little bit of the excess fabric. Just be careful that you don't get too close to your stitches, because of course you don't want to cut into the stitches that you already made. And I just went all the way around. There we go. And then all you're going to do is find your opening. Turn this, sorry about that. So this is the gap that I left. So about 2 fingers, if that gives you an idea of the size of the gap that you are going to want to leave. So you're just going to turn this right side out. You know, it's little, and I don't want to say it's delicate, but you know, you want to be careful too when you're turning it. But that's the importance too of doing your back stitches at the start and end, so that you've reinforced a couple stitches there, so when you're in there messing around, you're not pulling out your stitch. Sometimes it is a little bit helpful to use a tool to kind of poke out your corners a little bit. If you're making these square, if you're doing them round, you know, you could probably just, you know, kind of go through, give it a little bit of a push. All I did was I just picked up I don't even know, a knitting needle or a crochet needle. I don't even know. I picked one up at Joann's one day because I wanted something that was kind of small, that had a point. It's not real sharp though. It is a little bit rounded. So I just picked this up, and this is what I use. So there you have this, and then all you're going to do is at your turn, this one actually folded in on itself nicely. And then you'll just go back through one more time, and you'll top stitch all the way around. If you're using a fabric that is moves a little bit, you could always, you know, I would go in maybe like 1 presser foot width, go in and do a second top stitch around, just to kind of hold into place. I would suggest, if you're going to do that, I would make sure that my thread was softer. You know, don't use any thread that has anything metallic in it or that's rough, because if you're planning on using this on your face, then of course you not only want your fabric to be soft, but you want your thread to be soft too, because, you know, if you're using that and you've got, if you do a second top stitch, then that's going to be more likely to be on your face, where on this one, you know, it's probably not. You're probably going to be more using the center. You're not going to be kind of probably rubbing too much on the sides. But I just have just a regular, like, everyday use polyester thread, and it's fine. But I do have cotton thread, and when I make these to sell, I usually use the cotton thread just so that it is a little bit softer. So these are a great item. You know, like I said, you can pop these in the washing machine. You could use them for makeup. You know, you could even use them to clean jewelry. you could make these a little bit bigger also, and you could use them maybe as like a washcloth. So instead of buying washcloths, you know, you could make your own either washcloths, or, you know, like if you're going to use them for dusting or just cleaning the counters or anything like that, you know, you could use something like this just to clean, pop it in the washing machine, and then you're not using as many of the single-use paper towels, which I am guilty of, and I'm really wanting to get better at using less paper towels and using, because paper towels are pretty expensive as well. So I want to start using something so that I can wash them and, you know, just throw them in with my regular wash and not make as much garbage, and just have things that I can reuse, because I do have a huge bin of scraps. So, you know, why not use that for something that is usable around the house? And then they also have, I've seen, like for sandwiches, I don't know if you can use them kind of like in place of a saran wrap or not, but they have like a beeswax food wrap that it almost looks like it clings to itself a little bit like saran wrap does, but I've seen people that use those for like sandwiches, or, you know, and if they're storing leftovers or whatever. And that's something else that's supposed to be reusable, but I don't know how you would wash that. If it's touching food, I would think that you would want to clean it somehow. So that's something that I myself need to do a little bit more research in to see what that's all about. But that might be another option. I think I've seen them at Target. So that might be another option if you've used something like that before. Please consider leaving a comment in the comment section and letting people know where you bought them. You know, do you find them to be cost effective and friendly to use, and how do you clean them so that you would use them more than once? So I hope that you have found this 3-part series of things to make or buy and reuse, recycle, and kind of just to go green. I hope that you have found this 3-part series helpful. I hope that you will consider giving this episode a thumbs up, and I hope that you will watch the other 2, and please subscribe to Angela Shows You so that you don't miss out on future content. Have a wonderful day.